Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ya Rasulullah wa alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. My brothers and sisters, I'm here with Brother Nisar and Brother Ali, and we're going to continue their experiences on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala तुसां सारें की अपने ज़ुबान विच रखे, हर मुश्किल तू बचाई कर रखे। माड़े बच्चियों, तुसां वास्ते बावें दुआएं। We're burning with good intentions, not burning with bad intentions.
Okay.
So they're justifying themselves that you can burn it. So for so many years they've been doing this, and then suddenly Allah uses us people and we're burying it. It puts them all on the wrong path.
Of course.
So this is why you get scholars not being, trying to dampen it down, because they've all been misguiding the ummah by saying, oh, you can burn it, you can do this in it. What's your view on it?
No, just that's why it never sat with me, did it, Ali? Because how could you get something good out of burning something?
Doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense, because
Fire relates to Jahannam, doesn't it?
and
As well.
besides,
Yeah.
making your hand gas.
Fire is always something that if we got,
stoves, like,
even if you got a little, if you put a matchstick and you lit it and you put it against your hand, it'd hurt, wouldn't it?
of course.
So if the Quran's a living book, why would you do that to it? Why would you put it through pain?
And I feel like what Gurshi just said, that I think they try to justify themselves, don't they?
To save money, yeah.
Otherwise, man can eat up and
Yeah. But that wasn't actually the case, because we looked into that.
yeah.
We sat with my nephew was studying to be a scholar in Medina, and he explained the actual commercial exercise. Do you remember that, Pops, what he explained?
You see, the problem we've got,
Explain that. That's very important that people understand.
you see what's been happening, if you imagine, how many years has our masjids been preaching, there's going to be Quranic Kareems which are shaheed in it.
Of course, yeah.
If there is nowhere to bury it, and the Ummah has not been burying it, then what's been happening to the Quranic Kareems? So what they've been doing is they've been hiding behind, say, Bukhari 5987 hadith, which was on a different issue. But my discussions with senior scholars, I spoke to the Imams in Masjid Aqsa, many scholars in Pakistan, many scholars in Turkey, scholars around the world. We've had this discussion and they all agree with me. Scholars in Makkah and Medina, they agree with me. What they say is that, irrelevant what Usman Ghani Raziyallahu anhu did, the Farz-e Kafaya in an Islamic country exists. See? So if someone in Pakistan or Indonesia or Saudi Arabia picked up a Quran and tried to burn it, the laws of that land would detain them. In Pakistan they'll do a parcha on them, they'll get locked up, because the Farz-e Kafaya is there in it, because it's an Islamic state. We live in the West, which is nowhere near the Islamic rulings and law. We have to abide and live by the country that we live in. Yeah.
Yes.
So the behavior of burning could lead to fitna. For example, when you buy any text or any book, it's your property, innit?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So if someone bought the Quranic Kareem and decided to burn it, Na'uz Billah, under freedom of human rights and freedom of act, they can do that.
Wow.
So I say, and this is why for 6 years I've been on this path, because I say I'm an Ashke Rasul. Yeah. I'm a Ummah of the Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Khatbe Nabuwat is my stand. Yeah. Because Khatbe Nabuwat means final Nabi, which is our Nabi Pak, innit? And the Quranic Kareem, which is revealed upon our Nabi Pak on his heart through Fishta Jibreel, is the book upon my Nabi Pak. And because we believe that our Nabi is the last and Akhir Nabi, the Quranic Kareem is the book revealed upon that Nabi. We return it when it falls apart with burial and burial alone. We're not doing a janaza of the Quran, Nuz Billah. We're burying it to return it back in nature, yeah,
So it decomposes, with the ground.
with the ground
etc.
naturally, yeah, because we know we live in the West and that is my faith, that is my deen. So every person who supports me and walks with me or gives me Qurans to bury, in effect, they are from my group in it. Yeah? So they will choose this path than anything which is disrespectful, because if someone burnt the Quran Kareem in public, that's disrespectful.
Hatred, isn't it?
That's hatred, isn't it? So the scholars agree that it can lead to fitna, because a young boy might see a non-believer burning the Quran, he'll get aggressive, the blood will go warm, he might do something which might get him into trouble in this country we live. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to protect those kids, has given us the opportunity to provide a farz kafaya upon all in it, and make one statement that if you disrespect our Quranic Kareem, it is unlawful. Now can you imagine now, Imam of a masjid burning the Quranic Kareem? Some of them go to the extreme by shredding it first
Okay.
and say it's not Quran now because it's been torn in little pieces,
Wow.
and then we'll burn it, yeah, or we'll burn it and then chuck the ash in soil.
Yeah, but then those same people will see a little word of the Quran, they'll pick you up and they say, protect it, sometimes we see a bit of,
Yeah, but can you imagine you're an MP, yeah, in the West,
yeah.
you don't know Deen, and you see a person who doesn't know Deen buying a Quran and burning it on the road. But you know that that masjid burns the literature with a good heart. Yeah? And then the masjids turn around and people say, well, look, he's disrespected our Quran. And they say, well, what you on about disrespecting your Quran? Your imams are burning it and they know the Quran, they read the Quran, they believe the Quran. And they say the intention is good. This is a jahil banda.
Of
A
course.
jahil person, if he does it, it's no big guna. Learn how to be educated. Yeah? Then they turn in it as a, you understand, because we're in the
course,
wrong. So this is why the scholars say, Bawa, you're 100% right. This fitna which can happen going further down, and look at the state, look how the political dynamic is changing towards Pakistanis, and does that make sense? So if we're saying, what I'm saying, I don't care about any masjids or anybody, you know what, I'm a Muslim, I'm an Ashki Rasul, and you know what, disrespecting our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Quranic Kareem, yeah, is unaccepted in my Islam. You return it by burial. So when I'm saying this, I can go to that MP and say that now, innit?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then if he turns around and says, well, that masjid's burning it, I'm saying, well, look, that masjid has an issue with their own deen in it. If they're burning it, yeah, they might be different Muslim, but my Islam, my faith, is this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See? So what's been happening is the masjids have been misleading the ummah, because by burying, text is expensive, so they've chosen the pound in it.
Yeah. They have
Does
to.
that make sense?
They have to.
And this is why Chaudhry Ahmad says penny ummah. And I say it's not the ummah, it's the people who are sat in positions who should be saying, well, look, we're in the West, we should get our Quranic Kareems to be buried. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed these masjids to come up with a structure which they failed, and now Allah's using us in it.
So because we are the first, is West Garden the first
We are the only
project
ones in the whole UK
that doing
which
this?
has planning permission within the law. We are buried. We're the only site
With the utmost respect.
with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
Some places what they do is dig a grave and landfill. That's landfilling. Isn't it? We're not landfilling. What we're doing is we're returning our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kalam which is torn, or anything without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name on, or our Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's name on. Why? Because we're Ashki Rasul. Look, I laugh to myself, and this, you expand on this. You see scholars turning around and saying, "Ji, Khatme Nabuwat, Qadiani, MD Jalena, take, Musliman, they're not Musliman because they've gone further out in it." Yeah. What face can you say that when you don't have the love and respect for the Quran in your heart? Theory, we can all say in it, we can all talk in it, the talk in it. But how many of these scholars are doing the walk of the walking?
True.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Does that make sense?
They're good at putting laws on and putting this.
And let me tell you, mashallah, there are many masjids. 99.9% of the masjids in the UK, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed users. They are houses of Allah. There might be one odd slipping because of an issue or a bit greedy or whatever. We should always give credit where it's due. Our masjids, especially in our areas, are the best of the best, bro.
Subhanallah.
I've been to masjids in London where they read Jummah on TV. Yeah, they wait for half hour arguing, setting you, and they read Jummah. We went to a Danaza in London. It was a Jummah day. After Jummah, it was Danaza, and they read it on TV. Whereas here, if we go to a masjid and the Jamaat's late, if 2 o'clock Jummah or 1 o'clock Jummah, 1 minute past 1, we want the Jummah to start in.
Of course, yeah. They don't wait for nobody.
They don't wait for nobody, which means that our masjids, mashallah, in the Bradford, Halifax, all the surrounding areas, mashallah, we're blessed. And their users, they alhamdulillah users,
That's good.
they know for so many years they should have been burying, but Allah puts parda in it. And this is why we say that we're living in times which gives us an understanding that we're in the last times, innit?
Yeah, you're right, Pops. Just sometimes, of course, we know there's a service out there now. West Garden exists, it's here to stay, it's going to continue, with or without us.
With Jesus.
It's going to be here, inshallah, just a passion that you show, we all show. It's just that sometimes, like, I remember a couple of times I went to some masjids to collect the Qurans, and of course we put a bit fee on me now, just to get it on. And they just wouldn't, they've had it in the masjid for so many years. And just because of that little fee, they think, hang on a minute, we don't want to do it. And then they'll be back again in that storeroom or on that shelf. And you think, that's when it comes and hits me and says, it's about the money. A lot of them, they don't want to, it's the community's money that they don't want to part with for the right reason. And that sometimes, it does get to me, it really annoys me that they can't part. If you got something that actually doing something the right way now, you should just try your very best to get involved and work with West Gardens and at least give them the material that's not readable.
You know what happened? Before we were doing 4 years for free,
Yeah,
an incident happened. Allah put us on a different, we'll talk about that all the time. The Birmingham brothers, even myself, they'd call us, we'd go to pick it for free.
Yeah.
If we got there an hour late, they'd tell us off like as if we're in the wrong.
Wow.
Allah sees all that. I was picking Qurans up, and it was all free time. I was picking Qurans up, I had a list.
Yeah.
And this guy had said, in Bradford, I'll be at your house at, for example, 2 o'clock. I ended up there at 5 o'clock. Yeah, he had one Quran which was shade. And I rang him and said I'm outside, and he basically nearly swore at me on the phone. I went to his door, I knocked on his door, and it was winter. It was winter like this time.
Yeah.
Snow, bad ice on the roads. I parked my van, I went to the door, knocked on the door, it was about 5 o'clock. Yeah. And he opened the door, and he said in our language, you know what his words were? And they'll never go from my heart. He turned around and says, मैं तुसने पियो ना नौकर हूँ, कार बैठा रहा, तो 1 बजे आए तो 5 बजे क्यों ना आए? तो सब क्या समझ रहे हैं अपने आप की? And you know what my words were?
What was it?
मारा वीर गलती हुई, ऊँचा दे. took the Quran, we shaved, put it in a glove, sat in the van. The guy slammed the door like as if I was his father's nooker in it. But Allah sees all that. Then time came, now masjids are on a queue. Allah's turned it around. We go to places, people see me, what do? He's a witness. We go and, you know, there are people that just come
MashaAllah.
to see us when we go into a town. They have no material, but they just make excuse to come in.
Subhanallah.
It's happened a couple of times. I've been
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
just come to talk.
Yeah, and they'll come and talk and they'll turn around and say, you know what, do dua for us. Who are we to make dua for someone else? We don't feel worthy of that.
Yeah.
But Allah's put it in their hearts, innit? It's not because Baba Khurshid looks smart or Ali looks smart or this looks smart. It's the work we do. It's our actions that has made our characters, innit?
Yeah, because I remember very clearly, like, early on at the start, the first year into it was very difficult, wasn't it? Because we were learning, we were trying to find our feet, and, you know, a lot of people said don't do it and you shouldn't do it, and, you know, perhaps you are the land that Allah blessed you, the land that was supposed to be for something else, and of course you give it, you know, all here, and that was a huge, that was the inspiration of, wow, if somebody can get this much, we can at least give a little bit of time at least, you know. No one asking for some money, the best we can give at least is our blood, sweat, you know. And I remember one clearly when someone rang us and they said that, because at that time this we always in there before we had the designated number, and at that time we had to go to somewhere in Bradford, and I remember this clearly. We were all there, us three, Nadeem, and we went to this unit, like warehouse type, wasn't it? And wow, it was so sad. It was so sad. Because you were there with us, and that they had stacked up, you know, Islamic material, literature, Qurans, frames, you know, things that you give to a child to learn from, you know. And they were stacked in those big like cages, you know when you go to the supermarket and they have the big cages that they throw all their cardboard in.
Yeah.
And there were loads of them, weren't there?
There were
And we
loads.
all were crying, we were like, wow, like this, it was on our doorstep. And then I remember you said this famous line that this is what Allah does and put barakat in these areas. And I was shocked that, wow, look what people will go, and of course that time someone was collecting, and I don't think the people that were giving it knew where were really going, and those that were collecting were actually storing it here, and they were there for years, weren't they? Because there's some letters in there that we found that addressed
What
to
were
people.
they next to?
They were next to this is the saddest part,
Yeah, go on.
they were next to toilets. Actual toilets are there. And the next, and that was where we knew we couldn't give up, because we had to, we were doing something. Allah showed us very straight up at the start, like, this is the problem that we're facing in the Western world.
True.
We're facing problem, and even now, you know, like, to share that experience, look, like now, like, you'd go to people's houses, and before, at the start, early on in the times, remember, you'd go to somebody's house, or the company, and they'd give you like a Quran that was probably not readable, you know, the page that come out, or the colours been fading, and the letters have been fading, and they're mainly like paper based, and some were there for like, some Quran would date like 30 years, remember those Qurans were 30 years, and they'd be sat on some shelf, whatever. But now what's been happening is that, which is upsetting too, because now people give you Quran that like, just brand new, readable, and it comes back to what you said, is, you know, having a Quran in the house, okay, read it or don't read it, you know, we're all fall to victims where we try to open in Ramadan, and, you know, we should try to read it on a daily basis, you know, it's for ourselves anyway, and it's going to protect you wherever it needs to protect you. And we know it's going to protect you. But these people are giving you Qurans that are readable, and then there's no barakat in their house. They said, oh, we've got it on the phones, we've got it on the phones, and we read it, but the beauty of reading the Quran, at least have it on a shelf, at least somewhere where you can say, you know, I can go to it and read it when I need to read it. But that's one, like another shock that sometimes gets to me, that, well, people have started, and then they might say, okay, we're giving it for those that will probably want to read it in prisons, and, you know, except the way we're trying to give it, but that means that they're not reading it. And that's something that gets to me. That's why we continue this project for those people that, you know, try to remind them that keep hold of your Qurans. Keep hold of them, pass them on to your own, you know. Like, I can understand that when we were in masajid, like, what, 49, like, started at 10 years old, so when you read Surah Al-Quran, they were given before, and they'd be passed down, weren't they? You'd open a kind of had about 20, 30 names on it. This Quran belongs to, you know, one of those, but you'd be happy you got a Quran, didn't you? And when you'd finish masjid and you know what, you read your Quran several times and now you time to leave at a certain age, you'll put it back on a shelf for the next person, and it's those that we tend to bury, don't we? And there's, look at that Quran has been passed down through how many hands, and then it comes to us at the end, and then those people are willy-nilly giving fresh, brand new Quran, trying to justify to them, oh, you know, we're giving it for someone else to read. Why do you not, do you read it yourself? Do you question it? And wow, that's one thing that really keeps me going with the project. You know, of course, we've all had hard times in life, we all go still through hard times, but the only one that's can help you is the one that created you, really, isn't it? Nobody else can help you. No insan, nothing. Nobody can help you. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's hard that the Qurans that you mentioned that were on the toilets, outside the toilets on the corridor.
Yeah.
And you was there as well, innit? What was your thoughts going through your mind at that time?
I was shocked that it was in literally on our doorstep, and it was next to another, literally in that same complex where the famous masjid is. And they didn't know about it. That's what was, you know, it was shocking. It was shocking. And we didn't expect it.
And the thing is, it wasn't expected.
It took us a few days to get
it.
It took a while to do that. It was hard work. It was hard work.
Hard graft.
At that time.
4 or 5 of us.
Yeah. So we were on it. Yeah. And they weren't in a good condition, were they?
No.
Everything was just like dusty, and we've been in positions in other masjids where we've been into other places where we've collected from, where you've got rat droppings on there, you've got bird droppings on there. There's been positions where we've had to endure that and basically take those and put them in fresh kalaf, and you know, we've seen so much
in so little time.
Yeah, in so little time. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
You see, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us alive doing His good work. Send all His rahmats upon each and every one of us. Our du'as have always been that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His rahmat upon every British person. Send His rahmats upon every house in the UK. Because in reality, in this day and age, the areas where you're born have some presence in our lives, in it. They come first. It's like charity begins from home.
Home, 100%. Yeah.
Every masjid in the UK is our own masjids. Yeah. We should keep on making dua that Allah protects every home.
Amen.
But our characters, our actions must have some consequences. When houses of Allah has Quranic Kareems in poor states, when we sit, you know, I remember a mafhum of a hadith is, a Sahaba asked Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when did the Yahudis tell the truth?
Yeah.
And our Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when they stood doing khatib, like we do Jummah and the Imam comes and stands up, he said that Yahudis would on their member, they will talk about the truth.
Yes.
As soon as they come off, they'll do totally opposite. Sometimes you feel like we're going through that same test.
Of course, yeah.
Now our ummah is going through that test.
Yeah.
Where we feel that our masjids have neglected it, have been misguiding us, when reality is that Allah's rahmats have gone. And now when we've got farz kafaya upon us of this Shaheed Quran, how many people will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala release from their duties, isn't it? And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. Inshallah, in the next podcast we'll talk about we'll talk about the incident when Qari Deal, how we moved on to going up to, I think it was 11th June 2022, when we confronted the guy that was collecting Qurans, saying he was burying, but it was actually burning on a farm. and he was an Hafz Quran.
Wow.
And a mufti was giving his witness.
Yeah.
This is the type of alims that we've got. But then on the other hand, we have very good scholars
Alhamdulillah.
who openly say, look, you should be giving Qurans here. You should be doing this. But I feel that there should be more of that. The alims need to take their stand, or else the same thing that's happening in Huddersfield and Batley is going to start happening in all the masjids. The communities are going to rebel against their committees, and then the committees are going to turn around and try and dampen it down, and it's going to create havoc in the communities. And that is a sad position to be in. Let's do dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps us all safe,
Amen.
safe, secure, and in His zaman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send His rahmats upon us, the team, and all the viewers who come watch us on YouTube. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, send His rahmats upon you. Every video on YouTube you forward on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the same reward as what we get for doing dawah, to let people know what to do with Quranic readings, where to bury, who are burying them, what the process is. And these are the brothers that you can stop on the road, on the street, and ask. They will guide you towards the right path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless my brother Nis and my brother Ali. Allah Hafiz. If you like this video, please follow and subscribe. Watch us on YouTube at Rest Gardens. Jazakallah khair. Khuda Hafiz ta Allah sone ne wale.